Hi folks, Howard Schneider again. InDesign is basically Adobe Illustrator for desktop publishing, for multi-page documents. So let's create a document. We're going to go up to the File menu, New Document. Here the presets are a little different. Number of pages is unique to InDesign versus Illustrator. Illustrator is basically a one-page environment. Here you can build hundreds of pages. And the structure of how these pages are set up it takes on qualities too. This thing called facing pages, don't worry about it. We won't be dealing with it, but for your information, facing pages is what you're dealing with when you're doing like a multi-page document, like a book or a magazine or a brochure or a newspaper. Then you're looking at pages on the left and on the right. Those are called facing pages. We're not going to deal with that. In fact, we're just going to deal with one page right now. Page size, default letter. You've got the other default sizes as well. Right now, the width and the height are set in pixels. Okay. We're going to switch that to inches and in the preferences area. So put on your seatbelt for that. Columns. We're not going to worry about columns right now because that deals with basically organizing content into a grid formula or a grid orientation. And then margins, I got the same thing with that. I generally prefer having margins when I'm building a brochure anyway, but I'm sort of going to knock those out, just have no margins right now. So anyway, my document is just, a single page document. That's all I got, okay? So I'm going to reduce the size of this window a little bit, make it a little more flexible here. And so you'll already see that there's a couple of windows that are already open, okay? And I'll show you basically the pages, the windows you will definitely be relying on quite a bit. The control window is this area up there, again, like in Photoshop and Illustrator. That's the area where you control the things you create, you modify. You can modify what you've created here. Then, of course, you're going to need pages, which makes, like I said earlier, makes InDesign very unique. And you will need tools. Okay, these guys right over here. You're also going to need layers, okay, which is sort of already out there. There's another little window right over here called character, which, if you ever need it, you won't find it up here. You have to go into type and tables. I've never understood why Adobe thought that this made a lot of sense to put the character inside type when I think most people who are outside of graphic design would not make the association of character to typography. But anyway, there it is. Okay, so we got character, we got layers. With character, with the type thing, you can select multiple typefaces, any various point sizes, even beyond the 72, just like you can in the other Adobe products. Okay, and of course layers, right? Okay, so here is the your toolbox, okay, and this is the selection tool for moving things around. This is the direct selection tool if you need to move minute areas, things around. Let's skip these guys. This one is your type tool. This is for giving you type. And this is your pen tool, just like Photoshop, just like Illustrator. Pen tool, anchor point, pull, you get handles. You want to do a sharp angle, you hold down the Option key or the Alt Control key if you're on a PC. Only here, instead of here, what happens to the pen tool, when you hold down that Option key, it says, oh yeah, okay, so you want a corner point. Yeah, you want a corner. So I want to do a corner. And then you just break the handle and keep on drawing. What's really kind of weird, sometimes you'll get, oh, okay, now we see the circle. All right. Sometimes you don't see the closed circle, but just to make sure, that you're closing your path, I would zoom in anyway. Make sure you can see the darn thing. And so if you don't see that little circle, at least you know you're on it. You're totally, completely on it. And but this time, fortunately, we can close the path and see it. It's closed. Okay. So that's the pen tool. Let's see what else we got over here. Oh yes, we have the pencil tool. You want to play with that? Fine. There's a rectangle tool. Okay. You can also hold down the cursor. See, oh, ellipse frame tool, and you can make. Basically, these are picture frames. These can contain objects such as images. This one on this side is the ellipse tool. Hold it down, you'll see it's part of actually the rectangle tool. And this is for just creating generic shapes. Or not generic, but just creating shapes. Um, both tools will do the same, but one is designed to contain an image. And this one isn't. So polygon, you like polygons, great. Always hold down the shift key to keep the proportion strong. Okay. And let's see what else. We've got the gradient tool if you like making gradients. Over here. Boom. We have a gradient. Great. Okay. And, you can play around with it a little bit. Right? Okay. Let's see what else you want to know about. Hand tool for moving things around. And you can play with the eyedropper for selecting particular colors. And, and here are your color swatches. This is your fill swatch, just like in Illustrator. Here's your fill swatch. Here is your stroke swatch. Okay, stroke color swatch. So here, when I'm making my shapes, I generally do not like to give it a stroke. It's unless I really need a stroke. And here, if you really do need a stroke, you can select different stroke lines. How does that work here? Let's see. Let's give you. There we go. Does it show this one? Yeah. Okay. There you go. So you can have some fun with that. But there's a lot of toys on here. I mean, it's like going into a candy shop. How much sugar can you process? So you really kind of want to watch it with sort of getting lost in the tools of design, of software tools, like I've been saying all along. Okay, oh yeah. Before I forget, let's go into. I'm going to show you how to place an image. Okay, go up to File menu and go down to Place. But this time, unlike Illustrator and unlike Photoshop, it's actually a shortcut. In the case for a Mac, it's Command D. I think for PCs, it's Control D. But here I can do Place. Let's find an image somewhere. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's take a bicycle. Okay, bicycle. And now my cursor becomes a miniaturized version of the object. Boom, boom. I've got a bicycle. Hooray. Okay. So, so basically, we're placing the image from either Illustrator or from Photoshop. Okay. So basically, it's a repository for files created in both of those programs. InDesign is, in and of itself, a vector-based program. And I think we've already gone over vector-based programs. And here, to create text, you select the text tool, and you click and drag to create a text box. Okay? Now I'm going to type in my word. Okay, I'm going to select. Here, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's do this. Double click to select the word. Okay, if you have more than one word, you have to triple click, like that. Okay, and if you just have one character, just click and drag to select that one character. Let's make this a little larger so you're not squinting. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay. So already we've seen three important things: how to create shapes, how to import images, and how to create text. Okay, the text thing you really have a lot of control over in InDesign. That's one of the strongest features. That's why you would want to buy a program like this. Um, I think I always like to do is get off the default of metric and make it optical. And this is like optical letter spacing. You'll see the characters move around a little bit. See that? Okay. So now there's a better chance of the letters being optically adjusted in relation to each other. Although you might still have to do a little adjustments every now and then, right? So I'm sort of making that little adjustment right now to make the space between the V and the E look a little more even and consistent with everything else here. Okay. See what else you need to know. Yes, about using color, creating color. Okay, so I have an object here, and it's black and white, and I believe it's RGB, and I'm going to open up the color window right here. All right, so we got three choices here. Color, gradient is already selected. We already got gradient working over here. But you also want swatches, which we can bring up here. Okay, and color. Okie dokie, here's color. All right. So I will select this image of a bike. Okay, and what I'll do here is I'll observe what is being selected in the swatches window. Right now, the window of the object that the box that contains my image has no coloration to it. Okay, and the outline of the box that contains my image, it has no coloration as well. Okay, that can be changed. That can easily be changed. Now I just changed the object color to blue, but you didn't see that, did you? You know why? Because I didn't show you enough of the box. So what happens is when an image is brought into InDesign, the image basically occupies the upper left-hand corner, the XY zone of the box that it created for itself when it landed on your InDesign page. Okay, so let me kind of back out of here. I'm going to reduce the size of the image here by holding down the Shift key and the Command key, or you might, for PCs, Shift and Control. Reduce that, okay, and if you wanted to reduce it from the center, you'll hold down the Shift Option Command, which I think would be Shift Alt Control, okay, for PCs, but for Macs, for sure, it's Shift Option Command, and that's how you sort of do that, okay, or Shift and Command, and you do that, okay. By doing that, I'm going to extend the box beyond the area that the image occupies, and you can see that it has definitely given the box a color. There's no advantage to this. In fact, if you really kind of wanted to create a graphic that looked like this, it's recommended that you create this blue L shape with a separate shape, just creating a separate shape. That you really should not marry this and this if this is really what you want. You want this and you want this together? Great. Here, take the pen tool and create your own shape. Hold down the shift key to keep things straight and perpendicular. Right? You see where I'm going? Right? Oops. And give me a closed circle. So I put the shift key on. I'm not getting a closed circle. So when I take the shift key off, because I'm not really drawing a perfectly 90-degree straight line, but that's okay. But you see what I just did. So I just drew this shape. I just drew over here using the pen tool. If I wanted to make any adjustments, of course, you go to the direct select tool. You take your anchor point and you move it around so that, yeah, that looks pretty cool, and There you go. Okay? All right. So there's that. Now, so there are images you can bring into InDesign where you can actually change the image itself in terms of, instead of a black bike, a blue bike or a red bike or whatever. Okay. Um, so I'm not going to need this necessarily. Okay. And I want to colorize the bicycle itself. I really don't care about the blue background, and I'm going to change it back to none anyway, just to be on the safe side. So here I have this bike, and I want to change it. I want to colorize it. So if this is a JPEG or a TIFF file that's made in RGB or even CMYK, you really can't do anything with it except you're going to be dealing with a black and white image. Now, to change that, I would select the image and then go up to the Edit menu, okay, and go to Edit Original or Edit With, to get more specific, Edit With Photoshop. And we wait for Photoshop to open. Okay. Come on, Photoshop. Do your thing. And there it is. So I really don't want to destroy the original per se, but I'm gonna just change this. Well, let's see. Let me do the conversion that I wanted to do when I had this in mind. Go up to Image, go to Mode, okay, go to Grayscale. Okay, discard color information. Yes. Leave it as a grayscale. Okay. So now you want to save it as something else. Save as. Do save as. Let's go bicycle grayscale. I'll leave it as a TIFF. Okay. There we go. Boom. Okay. Say bye-bye for now. Okay. Now I am going to, if I just did my modification in the original file and then saved it, this automatically would have been switched with the revised image. Okay. So you'd be looking at the revised image here if I didn't do the save as thing. I did the save it as another name because I didn't want to destroy the original yet. Okay, just for information. So I could just get rid of this, but let's say I like where it's positioned, and I want to import the new image. So I'm going to go to File menu, go down to Place, and the quick way of getting to the thing I just created is to hit Date Modified, bicycle grayscale, and there we go. Okay, so let me shrink this down. Again, that's holding down the Shift Command key or Shift Control. All right. Okay. So I want to put this in the same position as that. Well, let's see. I'm going to extend this a little bit so there's a little bit of extra window underneath this when I take this and I place it on top. And just to make sure that you want to place something on top, go down to Object, Arrange. You can see if you have the option of bringing something on top or bringing it to the front. In this case, I already know it's in front because that option is taken away from me. It's already on top of, this is already on top of this. Okay, so I'm going to place this on top. Oh, I can't see. I'm sort of opaqued out here. Okay, so we'll do this. Make sure you have, under the View menu, you have selected rulers. I'll select them again. Show rulers. Okay, come on. Please show me rulers. There they are. And oh, and right now, the rulers are showing these funny looking numbers. They don't look like inches. If I want to work with inches and not pixels anymore, go up to the InDesign menu here. Go down to Preferences. Okay. Go down to Units and Increments, and you'll see ruler units, and you'll see horizontal and vertical. Right now it's set in pixels. Let's make that inches. Hit OK, and now we're dealing with inches. Okay. But having the rulers open allows you to create guidelines. So I'm going to click here in the ruler area. Remember to click in the ruler, not underneath it, but in the ruler area, and drag. Drag to create guidelines. And I'm going to go over here and drag some vertical guidelines as well, and another one over here. That's pretty cool. You know what? Look at these blue boxes are great because they show you the limitations of the image. This is or the limitation of the box that image is in. But when I'm working, they sort of get in the way. They're sort of like visual clutter to me. It's great if you can switch them on, switch them off. So if you want to know to kill these picture frames, if you just want to not see them for a while, they'll always be there, but just go down to the View menu, go down to Extras, and go down to Hide Framed Edges. So there'll be less visual clutter unless you have the object itself selected. Okay, so now I've got a guideline over here, and I've got a guideline right over here. I'm going to take my my bicycle here, bring it on top. So okay. Bring it on top. And you can see that there's this really interesting thing that happens when you're dragging. You can kind of see partially through the image, and I think I kind of hit the size I needed to be at. So that's pretty cool. So the lower image here is now on top of here. Oh, pardon me. I did not trash the whole thing. So I've got click and drag the whole image. Hold down the Shift key. No need to hold on the Shift key. You see what happened? I'll show you what happened. Click that, and I can move this up here, and it looks transparent because right now the image which is not in the box anymore. I'm dragging it out of the box and sort of holding it above here, and it's InDesign is saying, you really want to put it over here? Are you sure? And no, we don't. We don't. It's when you see the little ghostly thing going on, it's InDesign saying, where could this image possibly go? And right now it's sort of going outside of the picture box. So back to where we were. Here, click on the Select tool. Click and drag to select your bicycle. Put the bicycle on top. Okay, and make sure that the guides are visible, and click with using your arrow keys to guide your correct bicycle into position. So I've also got this earlier version of the bicycle. That's the reason why I kind of clicked its window to make it a little deeper. So now that I know I got the correct one in place, I'll just remove the one that was underneath. Okay. All this is leading to this magic moment. Okay, so now I've got the background color is selected now. Okay, and now the entire background is of that color. Okay. And so I'm going to colorize the bicycle itself. It'll stay on a white background. So to colorize the bicycle, now that I have this grayscale image in place, I'm going to hit the Direct Select tool, and then click the image. Okay. Now I'm going to change it from black to magenta, or green, or blue, or red. Okay. What if I want more colors than what we've got here? I'm going to go to the swatches window. Okay, swatches. Go up to New Color Swatch. And here is our old friend CMYK. That's if you're printing stuff. And here is RGB. If you're just keeping your document if this is going to be just an online document, okay? Then there's other things you can do as well. There's other color systems you can get involved in. Like in print, you can use the Pantone color system. There's also Toyo, but I guess I'm more comfortable with Pantone. I'm going to go with this Pantone solid matte, okay? And now I've got a lot of colors to pick from, okay? Lots of colors to pick from. And click on the one you want, okay? It will automatically add to the swatches window. You want to change your mind, you can always double click it and then move to the next one, or one over here, or one over there, or whatever. So there's that, okay? All right, so that gives you a little bit of insight on how to work with placed images. And the ideal is if you can do all the coloration of your image in Illustrator or in Photoshop, okay? This is sort of, you can do some very effective things in InDesign, but it's always preferred to do to create graphics in programs that are really designed directly for that, okay? This will do a good job. InDesign will. Let's see what else we can show you over here is that, let me make a copy of this. I'm going to hit the select tool, hold down the option key. Oops, wait a second. Let me make sure I got this selected here. Okay. Hold down the option key. There's my double cursor. And now I have my my bike. Now, for the sake of our exercises, you don't have to turn in very high resolution work. You can get away with very low resolution work. There's a thing here that InDesign does that really is the territory of Photoshop, but InDesign does it, and it's a really kind of neat, although down and dirty technique. I'll show you what it is. It's called the clipping path. I'm going to go up to the Object menu, and basically the clipping path will knock out the background on a white background, typically, or just a solid background. Clipping path under the Object menu, right? Clipping path. Go down to Options. I'm going to click on Detect Edges, and I'm going to hit Preview. And what it's done is that it's drawn a vector path around the object itself, around my bicycle. I'm going to click on I'm going to click on Include Inside Edges, and you can see we have a lot of anchor points and paths. And by hitting OK, I now have an object that is basically the background's been knocked out. So now I can drag this on top of anything. Oops, wait a second. What am I doing here? Yeah, okay. Let's click, drag, select the whole thing. Now you see what's going on. Okay? Pretty cool, eh? This is not recommended for finished art. For final high resolution art, not recommended, okay? But for the purpose of our exercises, go for it. Okay, so let's visit the object menu a little bit. Again, I really don't want to sort of get wrapped up in effects and all the tricks and bells and whistles and all the really fun things that you can do to really kind of take the next 9 hours of your life and make it seem like the one. In other words, don't get lost in all the tools here, but I'm going to show you a few things you should be aware of. Effects, transparency would be one of all the objects the modes you've got over here. Transparency might be one you use most frequently. You can adjust the opacity on any object, okay, including typography, because type right now is an object. And let's try that again here. Transparency, boom, boom, boom. There you go. Okay. I can also do under FX. I I can affect the opacity right here. So this is like kind of a little bit of a shortcut. All right. So that's pretty cool. With your type, if you're really into making type, which some people are, you can select your type. I just triple clicked my type, and I can increase the size of my type, by one increment at a time. Where's the character? Here's the character window. You can do it over here in the character window, or in the control window. Okay, it's completely up to you. But you can get very specific. So I'm going to type in 112.45 points. And that's how type is measured in points. And right now, what this means is that my type is too large for my window, too large for the working area. So I can go to the select tool, okay, select my text box, grab one of the little dots here that you see at the side or the corners, and drag to make the window a little bigger, okay? And so that's pretty cool. And let's say if I want to do more of that, I want to have more text, and vector and more vector forever. Okay, vector, more vector forever. Okay. So let me pull this down. Your bike's out of the way. Okay. I have my text here. It just doesn't feel right. Maybe it's too big. I don't like this hyphenation over here. Well, there's a couple of ways of dealing with this. I can just put my cursor right before the word and hit the return key to knock the next line down. Or I'll undo that. Or I can just select my text and just make it smaller. So one way of doing that is going up here and selecting the point size you want. Okay, and maybe when you do that, you won't want your type to be outside the document like that, and we'll sort of take the window and bring it so that it's within the document. Okay. I can select my type here, and no, look at the space in between my lines of text. It's huge. First of all, I don't like this little widow. This is called a widow. Okay, I don't like this break of hyphenation on a very short block of text. So I'll just do a little bit of, okay, I just took it from 72 point down to 71 point. That's okay. If you want a shortcut for changing point sizes, you can take on a Mac Shift Option Command, and then the right arrow key, or the right inverted V key, and you'll see that I can go from 71 to 81, or if I just hold down the Shift key and Command key, left arrow key will increase it by 2, right arrow key will reduce it by 2. Okay. Let's see what else you need to see on here. You want to change the space in between your lines of text? Well, that's called leading. So you can go over here, you see whenever you get like a little parentheses, it says paren 82.8 point, or PT means point. So 82.8 point, close paren, that's actually a default number. The default is based on whatever the point size is times 120%. And that's what it gives you. So, but it always looks terrible. And in large type, I tend to like slightly tighter leading or line spacing. I'm going to give it maybe 74 point, and that's a little better. Okay, I can always modify it, and like that. Okay, so and whenever you need to make more text boxes, click. Make sure you're not dragging on another text box, which is what I was doing. Select your text tool, click drag, make new text, copy, paste, paste, paste. You can do that all day long, or you can go to type. If you just want just miscellaneous text to put in there, you can fill it in with placeholder text until you know what your final text is going to be. Okay, So for exercise purposes, if you wanted to work with type and text, this is perfectly suitable. You don't have to make any sense at all. Okay. Um, so that should be enough to get you going. That's enough to show you for just a quick start into InDesign. Okay, guys? All right. Talk to you soon.